All right, guys, today we are going to be looking at lesson 8.1, samples and populations, day 2. All right, so today we are going to look at using our sample to estimate something about the population. So our first example here says, you ask 75 randomly chosen students at a school how many movies they watch each week. There are 1,200 students in the school. Estimate the number of students in the school who watch one movie each week. All right, so if I'm looking at the chart on the right, I can see that 21 students surveyed watched one movie a week. So 21 out of 75 students. Okay, so on top is the result from the sample, and the bottom number is the total, right? So part over whole. On the other side of our proportion, I am going to use the 1,200 students in the school. So I'm going to use that population. So the total is going to go in the denominator, and then my unknown is in the numerator. All right, so now I have a proportion set up, and to solve a proportion, we can cross multiply. So I am going to do 21 times 1,200, which gives me 25,200 equals, on the other side, I'm going to have 75x. So to isolate x, I'm going to divide both sides by 75. And that leaves me with 336 students who watched one movie a week. All right, same idea for the next example. This said you ask 125 randomly chosen students to name their favorite food. There are 1,500 students in the school. Predict the number of students in the school whose favorite food is pizza. So again, in my proportion, the denominators I'm going to use are 125, which was the total sample, and 1,500, which is the total population of the students. Since we are looking for the number of students who like pizza, in the sample, it was 58 out of 125. So the question is, what is it out of 1,500? So again, now I have my proportion set up, so I can cross multiply here. So 58 times 1,500 is 87,000. And on the other side, I get 125x. So I can divide by 125 on both sides. And that gives me 696 students who like pizza. All right, let's try another example the same way. It said you ask 50 randomly chosen employees of a company how many books they read each month. The diagram shows the results. There are 600 people employed by the company. Estimate the number of employees who read at least one book each month. So I'm going to set up my proportion. So in the sample, the number who like it says at least one book. So at least one book would be 1, 2, or 3. So if I add 19, 7, and 10 together, that's going to give me a total of 36 out of 50 people that were surveyed. Okay, the population here was 600 people. And I want to know how many out of the 600 read at least one book. So again, I'm going to do my cross multiplying here. So I get 50x equals 36 times 600 is 21,600, and I'm going to divide by 50, and that gives me 432 employees who read at least one book. All right, now it is your turn to practice with your group. So go ahead and pause the video here, try the problems, and then when you are ready, you can press play to check your answers. So number 1 here is 40 over 60 equals 560 over x. And when you cross multiply, you get 840 students. For number 2, you should have had 6 over 22 was x over 396. And when you cross multiply, you get 108. For number 3, you get 4 over 25 students equals x over 4,000. And when you cross multiply, you get 640 students. For number 4, you should have 12 over 40 equals x over 250. And when you solve, you should get h, 75. And then for the last one, it says you want to estimate how many teens in Florida get an allowance. Who should you survey? And the correct answer would be G. All right, guys, that is it for the notes. Go ahead and go back to your agenda to see what activity is next.